remembering always that
life is not a goblet to be drained, but it's a measure to be filled.
Individual voters are under the impression that their votes don't count. In the Vancouver Centre riding in British Columbia, the Liberal Party, after acquiring 31% of the votes, ended up getting the seat. This means that 70% of the people who voted in that riding may as well have stayed at home because their vote didn't gain them any representation. Now, all these wasted votes are not only a testament to our failed democracy, but also an astonishing waste of paper. It's a sad day in Canada when the forests of British Columbia are being towed down, only to be wasted on votes for the Green Party. It is clear, Madam Speaker, that this system benefits nobody. Not the voters, not the parties, and certainly not democracy. And in an age where thousands are fighting for the privilege of democracy, we too must rise up and fix ours.
I rise in strong opposition to this resolution as it fundamentally alters the system of government our country is founded on, and that is regional representation. This hasn't been based on parties or lobby groups that have shaped the ideologies of Canada. It started as individual candidates representing the communities in the House of Commons. And I believe that if we pass a resolution such as that, we are removing the fundamental right of a community to send a candidate to represent them.
There is a majority government in Ottawa right now based on about 39 to 40% of the popular vote. I would like to point out to those who think that's some sort of travesty that exactly 5 times in history in Canada have there been majority governments garnering greater than 50% of the vote. Minority governments, as we've seen in this recent decade, led themselves to instability and brinksmanship at every turn.
2 analogies have come to my mind, and I beg the indulgence of the House to allow me to use them both, because I think they're kind of witty. So, anyway, Madam Speaker, when I read this bill, I think of Stephen Harper, because the Honourable Mr. Harper's heart is in the right place, but sadly, he's sorrowfully out of touch with the real issues that are important to solving problems. And like Swiss cheese, a fine food we all enjoy, this bill is full of holes.
I'm going to address some remarks made by the President of the Privy Council. No one, I think, is ever saying that the first-past-the-post system isn't a legitimate way to receive a mandate with the 40% of the votes. But and just because we weren't outraged in 84, in the 50s, in the early 1900s, things change, viewers' perceptions change, and it doesn't mean that we can't be now, and that we can't try and find a better way to do things. And that's what this resolution is all about. It's trying to find a better way to address the needs of the nation. And so that's why I think that we should pass this.
I have a few thoughts on this resolution, and first off, the first thing I noticed upon reading this resolution is that it says that the parties get to name all candidates in the province, one candidate for each riding in the province. Now, in Alberta, it doesn't matter because we have very few ridings. Particularly, it doesn't matter in Northwest Territories, where they had one riding and I believe they had about 3,000 votes. However, in Quebec and Ontario, you're going to see about 75 to 100 names on this list. That's a lot of wasted paper, more so than the current ballots. And I'm sure that would disappoint the Green Party.
I'm from a small town, outside of Grand Prairie. I have very little in common with a member of my new representative who might be from Calgary, or who's from a larger centre, who has never even been to my area, or who has never seen a farm. It would be very difficult for me to be represented properly.
There are many people in Alberta that feel like they have wasted votes. Alberta has been largely conservative for the longest time, and so anyone who wants to vote Liberal or NDP or Green, their votes are essentially wasted. With proportional representation, these people, their vote would count. Their vote would matter. The other problem that I see with proportional representation is a problem that they've been having in Europe for a while, is that because we have so many parties and one party rarely gets the majority of the government, we will always end up with a coalition government. A coalition government, although it will be better represented, it can't work as effectively as a majority government.
As pointed out before, it does not treat independents properly. Independents do not work like parties. Forcing them to cohere into one party does not make sense at all. They're all individuals except for the one who insists that he is not. But under this system, who would decide which order they go in? I'm going to use a system where the independents are lumped together in a party. Well, then are we going to have a situation where we're going, well, I really want this guy, but in order for him to get in, we need to elect the 3 marijuana party guys in front of him.
Well, yes, the size of the ballots is a little bit of a problem, but you know, ridiculously large ballots are a very small price to pay for good democracy. Thank you, Madam Speaker.